right, here we go. I'm back. Skeet's back. We're back in business to Shelter FootyCast live from BackChat Studios. We're not down at Shelter. We're not in Bali. We're not in Port Hedland. We're here in the studio. How are you, Skeeter?
Yeah, good on you, Scully. Nice for you to actually spend some time back. We're just a couple of shows in a row before you just gallivant off to some cash cow that you've got tucked away. Happy St Paddy's Day, by the way. And
today?
It is the 17th of March. I know these things get away from you, but yeah, it makes me think of all the great Irish footballers that have played our great game. You think of Ty Connelly, you think of Sean White, you think of Hanley Pearce, and you think of the great Jimmy Steins, the late great Jimmy Steins, of course, who won the 1991 Brownlow. 1987, he was caught up in the drama during the prelim final. But to all the Irish folk out there, and the BackChat T-shirt I'm looking at, it's got a touch of green about it, so yes. You might be able to wear that down to Finnegan's or one of the pubs today that supply some shelter.
Yes, that is very good. I believe I owe my parents-in-law, my in-laws, a happy wedding anniversary. It's just sprung to my mind. I believe it's St Paddy's Day.
How many years?
A lot. So well done, guys. You're still going.
That was really good. So in touch with your family.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm keeping track of how many years my parents-in-law have been married, mate. How many years have you been married?
I'm in the 20s, but I don't know exactly how many.
So shut up. You don't know. And go on.
No, that's all right.
You can ask me.
I'm tipping, given you've got the two little, I reckon you're 8 to 10.
Yeah, I think it's 8. I was married in 2015, so do the math. I'm not keeping track though, scared. I don't know. Is that wood? What is wood? Diamond? What is that?
Oh, I turn rings.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. As in, the strength.
Oh, no. It's not Silver Jubilee or anything like that. I've got no idea. But just hang in there. Just be not out at stumps. That's what I try and do.
Thank you, Skeeter. Shelter FootyCast on socials. You can give us a follow over there. Send us an email if you want to get in touch. footycast@shelterbrewing.com.au. If you're watching on YouTube, chuck a comment in the section below. We can answer those as well for you. We'd love some fan interaction. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us a podcast. Shelter, born and brewed in Busselton. Now, Skeeter, before we get into last night's game, which was, it was a tight one, and we've got some games coming up this week. I do want to remind people the Shelter FootyCast tipping competition is up and about. You can enter on the Shelter website. Now, I'm hoping, there's been one game played, I think you should be still able to enter.
And not just that, I'm still on top of the table along with everyone else.
You picked a draw, did you?
No, well, no one picks a draw either. You got Carlton or Richmond.
Okay.
And so if you picked either side, I presume you're still on the top of the table with everyone else.
So
normally I'm 0 from 1.
So we've started very well. First prize, I just want to go through the prizes for you, Scan. I know you spoke about this Monday. $300 Shelter Brewing Co. venue voucher plus $300 worth of Shelter beer plus, that's going to be a lot of beer, by the way, $300 of merch. So almost $1,000 of first prize giveaways there. Second prize, $250 worth of Shelter beers, $150 worth of merch. And third prize, $150 of beer and a Shelter hoodie plus weekly prizes. Have a look on our socials to join up to that. Find it on the Shelter FootyCast or find it over at Shelter as well. I'm going to beat you this year in tipping. I'm going to beat you.
Oh, you probably will. And given your, humility and humble approach to it, I hope you cop one right where it hurts. But no, if you want to beat the boys, as in us,
yes,
go for your life. It won't be that hard because...
you don't rate your tipping ability, do you?
Oh, I rate my tipping... I rate my footy now, but not my tip. My tipping is... I could tip every close game I cop it. I mean, you know what it's like. You go through it, you go, and it's a 2-point result after the siren, I'll back the other side. And so they can all get stuffed about round 3.
Is that tipping or punting?
It's a lot. It's everything.
Very good. Jump into the footy, into the tipping competition. Take on me and Skate. You can beat the boys. We'll do some comps during the year here on the FootyCast. Looking forward to it. Now, let's get into it. Footy is finally here. Thank F-U-C-K. Seriously, thank God footy is here. We can talk about some actual moments. We've got some big moments coming up. The debutants for West Coast perhaps is terrific over here in the West. Fremantle playing Ross Lyon. I think that's trying to be built into something. Maybe it quite isn't, so we can speak a little bit about that. I just think how good footy's back. We got to watch footy last night. It was a draw.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a couple of points to come out of this. Obviously, 88,000 people back at the G, which was just terrific. The quality of the game's been questioned, but I reckon, Sco, whenever there's a tight match, it sort of disguises maybe some of the aesthetics of the match. I mean, in the first 90 seconds, there were 2 goals, and we're thinking, hello, this is the modern frantic footy, but it dried up really big time after that. Richmond.
Why?
Well, I think it was more a Richmond-style game. The way they played the game, they put a lot of forward pressure on. They had 66 to 45 entries inside 50.
It was frantic, wasn't it?
But it wasn't
helter-skelter.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't clean, free flowing. No, and that's Richmond to a T. And so, if you're looking back at the last quarter, for instance, and how it played out, Carlton should have won with a lead of 7 points, and then obviously in the last 30 seconds they gave up a goal. But they should have won. But to be fair, Richmond had more entries and they missed some sodas during the night. My mate Shea Bolton, who I love, kicking around the body a couple of times. Tom Lynch missed one early. They butchered chances, Richmond. So you can make a case for either side to come away with the moral victory.
I think Shea Bolton kicked the 4th most behinds last year in the AFL, so he hasn't traditionally been accurate. I mean, you'd rather be having shots, but he did miss some really tight shots, and a couple late as well. It's always funny watching these games and watching the final 2 minutes, and everyone focuses on those. And look, that doesn't decide the game. What decides the game is probably the 118 minutes before that. But if you just look at that last 2 minutes, like you said, 7 points up, Carlton should win that game, regardless of how the game goes. But, breaking down the last minute, Richmond get that ball, they go inside, they kick long. I don't know. I still haven't seen who it was, but Wiedering's on Lynch, right? And if it's a one-on-one, Wiedering probably gets that done 50-50. I don't know.
Halves the contest at
least.
least.
Yeah, 80, 90% of the time. He's a great defender. Tom Lynch is a great forward, but if Wiedering's right with him. But a Richmond player, as the ball came in, blocked Wiedering fairly, I think. Wiedering lost, a metre on him, and Tom Lynch gets a run and jump at the ball. There's probably not too many players in the competition that do that better than Tom Lynch. And, it's a clutch play, goes up, takes a mark. It wasn't slow enough play for no one to contest that. So I think Carlton would be pretty disappointed they didn't have someone rolling off their man to fly at that, because effectively Tom Lynch marks it in a contested situation, but no one was near spoiling it.
No, but having said that, about 60 seconds earlier or a minute or two earlier, they did get the block right, and it prevented Lynch having a run at the football, and the mark was taken not by Wiedering but by another defender. And so I guess the other big talking points going, and you'd be well versed to talk about this, when they were on a roll in the last, 90 to 2 minutes to go, Lockie O'Brien, I think it is, takes a mark at left half back.
Yep.
All the Richmond players had compressed. There was so much space ahead. And yet apparently, not being at the ground, Harry Mackay had metres in the clear. The question I have to you is, and Nathan Buckley discussed it last night, you have the ball at half back, you have the lead. He played on, took on the game, obviously thinking that, okay, at the very least there's a territorial advantage here. Mackay goes to ground, ball's turned over, or you do that method, or do you, once you've taken the mark at half back, do you soak up 10, 15 seconds and try the chip game?
Well, he would be coached at playing the chip game, but 2 minutes to go in the first round, you're tired.
He's gone for the run. He's had and the ball got away from him.
I'm saying he made the wrong decision
in hindsight.
And he would have been coached that with 2 minutes to go, they would have all known it was late in the game.
But they're in front.
That's fine. So in front, take the ball, slow the ball down.
So in that case,
stop, get off, take 8 seconds, find a free player, can be 15 metres away, get another 8 seconds, and if you get off the mark enough and you get your 8 seconds, you get called to play on. Kick it as close to the boundary as possible.
And to be fair, I think it was Jesse Motlop who gave it to O'Brien, who was cruising past.
Right.
So all I'm saying is at halfback they had the ball.
You can't be calling for it like that. I can only speak what we did at West Coast, right? So 2 minutes to go, it was called red time, right? And everyone on the ground knew that one, no handballs, no running around the back trying to get a handball, and you don't want to play the game on. You either want to find it
when you're leading.
When you're leading. Yeah, mate. When you're losing, the opposite.
Yep.
Play on.
Sid just having
go
a
around. There's a metal door bashing around that I told Dan would happen. Hopefully that doesn't continue on throughout the pod. If it goes again, Jaden's going to run out and grab that. When you're losing, play on, do everything you can, make it up. Harlem Globetrotters.
But so you're saying you have a plan when you lead by one possession, for instance. Do you have similarly a plan as such when you're down?
Yeah. It's corridor football. So
simple as that.
So let me finish off on when you're winning, right? So when you're winning, you're up by that. You need to slow the ball down. You can either find a free player and get another 8 seconds, or get far enough off the man of the mark, get called to play on, and the forwards down the line need to get as close to the boundary as possible and either mark it or get it out of bounds. Get everyone a chance to get up the ground, field position, set up behind the footy. That way you can get a loose behind the ball. Stoppages are your friend, and especially boundary stoppages, because it's on one side. You know where the ball is. It's very difficult to transfer the play from a boundary stoppage into the corridor out the other side. So that's what you're aiming for. Now, if you're losing, it's the opposite. The forward dictates where that ball goes, so he'll be running to the middle of the ground. Corridor football, take it on. It doesn't even need to be a 50-50. If it's a 30% chance of winning that contest in the middle, you go through the middle and try and score. Late in the game like that, you're not trying to score. You're trying to keep the ball off the opposition.
Yeah, it's
so
a bit like
can't butcher it, mate. If you're up by 7 points, you should be winning.
End of the day, I think Michael Voss said last year they would have lost that match by 6 goals. But
that's all and well. But
I think last night mentally they didn't quite handle the challenges that were confronting them in the last few minutes in terms of turning the ball over. The composure they lacked, and Richmond too experienced to not take that opportunity. And Baker came through the back half and obviously ended up with Lynch. So great result, the draw. I like extra time. I bet you don't. But you got any thoughts on it?
I could
take it or leave it?
I could live with extra time.
Okay.
How long though?
Oh,
given 2 minutes extra time.
Well, what do they do in the finals? Is it 5 each way?
It's 5 minutes each way.
Yeah.
Is it?
And even if it's not 5, I mean our game's so quick. I mean, I know in NRL they've got the golden point. So in NFL they have obviously extra time, basketball extra time. EPL they don't, but I don't mind it. But having said that,
they can still end in a draw in the NBA, can't they?
They can after double overtime, I think. But yeah, look, I think for the theatre of the game.
Okay, so extra time, golden point, or just extra time? Mate, theatre would be golden point. Then we're talking. Mate, imagine how good that would be.
Yeah.
Well, next score wins.
But that'd be decided pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, that's how it should be.
Yeah,
right?
no, exactly.
You don't want to drag it on for 20 minutes.
Look, you won't. The traditionalists will jump down our necks and say, just leave the game as it is. But going back 15 years ago, we had to play, like going back to finals, there was no such thing as extra time 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. It was
Go again.
Grand finals now.
Yeah.
You play extra time. After 2010, the draw between Collingwood and St Kilda. It makes sense. Get it decided on the day. For me, but some people still say, you've got a result, 2 points each.
How good's it going to be the first grand final with extra time?
Oh,
that's going to be absolute mayhem.
I can't wait for that.
Are we going to be alive?
Well, let's hope so. Yeah, we've hopefully got a couple of years. Well, you have. You're a pup.
Correct. Well, who knows? Draws are hard to come by. Let's keep going. Mark Reddings, Will Schofield, Shelter FootyCast. Let's start with the West Skeeter. We'll start with West Coast. West Coast play North Melbourne, 10:45 West Australian time Saturday.
And not just that, 10:45, which is 1:45 at Marvel. The roof will be open. I'll tell you why. The revised forecast for Melbourne tomorrow, 37 degrees.
Is it?
Telling you, it's 37 in your whole hometown.
Wow, that is hot. Roof off.
Everything off. It's going to be, subs. I mean, this is. I mean, in Perth, we shouldn't be, we're too worried about it. But 37.
37 in Melbourne's different to 37 in Perth.
I totally agree.
It's a different type of heat over there, so it'll be interesting to see how North Melbourne hold up against that. I think West Coast, you would think that would benefit them. I never used to like playing the heat, and I really didn't like training in it either. So I don't know how I survived over here for 14 years. I hated the heat. Hate it.
So you'd rather play in Geelong when it's bitterly cold?
Oh yeah. How hard do you reckon it is for a forward to mark the ball and it's hailing, dews coming off? Yeah, absolutely. I would date that any day of the week. We used to roll out here down at McGilvray's, some sort of northerly blowing at 7 a.m.
Flies.
It's 45 degrees at 7:30. Sunscreen on. I can't breathe. Mate, it was shocking training over here.
Good shout.
I hated it.
Good shout.
Some blokes used to love it. I used to hate it. I don't know how some of these blokes with fair or red hair used to, I've at least got a bit of olive complexion about myself. It was bloody brutal over here, mate.
Carl Langdon, that's why he was just looking for the peroxide.
Now, West Coast, North Melbourne, it's the spoon bowl, effectively, right? Well, I mean, there's some big games
from last year.
Yeah, this is last versus second last place. 2 wins each last year, both very disappointing. Who wins this game? Just we'll talk about the debutants. Who actually wins this game?
And just touching on the debutants in a moment, but look, a bit made about Nick Nat's absence, but Todd Goldstein's not playing either, so that's sort of in the ruck sense. Jack Darling to me is he's a really important inclusion. What his fitness levels are like, I'm not sure, but he'll attract a defender.
Yep.
Maybe I've been drinking your bathwater over the summer, and I have got a little bit nervous after watching that Crows game in the pre-season. But
So have I. I'll put my hand up.
I'm tipping West Coast, because if you're going to make something of your season with their list, which is without question it's superior to North Melbourne's.
Yep.
In its entirety, but whether that translates to a victory tomorrow remains to be seen. But I'm tipping them on the basis that I think their senior players will be able to do enough, and obviously those new guys coming in, I think they'll be able to see off a North team, which will be under Clarkson. They'll be a lot tighter defensively.
A win on the road's a win on the road as well.
Yeah.
So I think if West Coast can start the year with a win in Melbourne, it's breeds confidence it's in a younger group, right? We've got 4 debutants at West Coast. One of them's a senior player, 27-year-old in Jaden Hunt. He'll add a lot to the group. I've really liked him across training and in games. I like his dash, but I like the way he's defending. Campbell Chesser, as mentioned numerous times on this podcast, he'll start on the wing. Lock him into your Supercoach teams and your fantasy teams, whatever you're doing. I'd just leave him there all year. These 3 guys, I would love to just see them left there. I really would. And I know probably Long and Chesser over Jinby may be more inconsistent. I would love them to just blood them and to let them go and just at least for a period of time say, boys, you're playing for the first 6 weeks of the year.
Enjoy.
Yep.
Have fun. And I think what you're eventually trying to do is expedite getting to that magical 50-game mark or something like that. So the more games you can get into these young guys, and by the same token, I think by rounds probably 17 to 23, there's going to be some of those kids that if they've been playing a lot of footy, they'll be cooked.
Yeah, maybe. Noah Long, liked what I saw of him in the pre-season. Had a quiet couple of games against bigger bodies and men, but he's going to be a good player. Again, I'm pretty sure that was revealed here on the Shelter FootyCast. Wouldn't be surprised if it was. But he
just explain
the eye test. He passed it very quickly.
He's very slightly framed.
Yeah, he's small.
Is he Phil? Can you compare him to a player? I mean, Phil Matera obviously is now in the Hall of Fame at the Eagles, but not putting that label on him. But is there a style of forward that you see in him?
I'm trying to think of really good small forwards around the competition that sort of his frame. Like Toby Green doesn't really fit that small forward, and he's not a Toby Green, but the way he moves is Toby Green like. When you watch Toby Green get the ball, he's smart, and Toby Green's not that quick, but he can evade people.
Yeah.
He can step. He can do the right thing with the ball. Toby Green doesn't have this massive penetrating kick, but he seems to put it in the right spot all the time. From the very short sample I've seen, that's what Noah Long's like. He's able to evade people. He's able to make the right decisions. He doesn't have a booming kick. He doesn't have a penetrating kick, but he puts it in the right spots. He gets to the right spots front and centre.
For the ball.
He's a good pressure player. He just does a lot of things right. And for young players, if you're doing a lot of the, just basic things right, you're actually in front of a lot of people. You don't need to be this spectacular Dusty Martin, Sam Walsh, every game sort of guy to get a game, especially in this West Coast side. They need young guys. So I've really liked him. And, of course, Ruben Jinby. Look, I think he's a real chance for the rising star right off the bat. Ashcroft's $1.60, $1.40 to win it. I haven't seen Ashcroft play, got to be honest.
He must be an absolute genius, Ashcroft. No, seriously, having done what he did at school footy, to come straight in and have an impact, albeit pre-season. But I'm really fascinated to see how good this kid is.
Well, I think, this Ashcroft you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen Jinby and so have you, and I think he looks bloody good. So I'd be really excited as a West Coast fan.
How excited are you? You have to be tipping them, given what you've said.
Yeah, absolutely.
With confidence?
Look, I'm tipping them against North Melbourne with confidence. I think North Melbourne will be shithouse again this year. So
I've tipped them for the spoon.
Yeah, look, I think that's I couldn't really argue with you too much. I've tipped GWS for the spoon. That's maybe a bit harsh, but
bit of unknowns about there, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think they've added too much to the list to really improve where they were last year, and they were pretty poor at stages last year. So that's what I think with them. But I think North Melbourne will lose, West Coast will win. I don't know if there's anyone else we need to cover off on that. No, Elliot Yeo, huge injury.
Yeah, calf little nick, no good. But yeah, so you see on social media, for Eagles supporters getting a bit frustrated early at the injuries.
The reason I've picked West Coast is I think to make finals, and the reason that they're able to do that is if their best players play and they play well. Elliot Yeo and Nick Nananui in their top 5 best players. Nananui's getting older, but Elliot Yeo at his best is their top 3 players, and neither of them are playing round 1. So that's why I'm getting a little bit nervous. For West Coast to play finals, they need their good players out there, and they don't have 2 of them. So
let's
they're
be
going to
honest.
have to keep a good run of injuries.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You're already thinking Nick Nack's going to miss at least 1, maybe 2, and Yowie the same. They're probably going to, if they can play 14, 15 games, is that what you were thinking for them to play finals? Those types of guys?
Absolutely.
Which
Elliot Yeo needs to play 20 games, to be honest. And
it ain't happening.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it is. I mean, unless he comes back and doesn't have an injury, it's just
but that's what they need.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this in hoping for the best for West Coast. To play finals, you need your best players playing well, and at the moment, 2 of them aren't even on the track. So, I'm getting a little bit nervous with that. But let's keep moving. Fremantle play St Kilda 1:40 Sunday. That sounds like an absolute graveyard shift, to be really honest. Marvel Stadium, Freo St Kilda. It's meant to be the Ross Lyon game. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, Ross Lyon coming out during the week with their injury toll, saying they've got about 30% of their salary cap available. So
it's what he said.
It's got all the hallmarks of Ross.
That was on Footy Classified, wasn't it?
Yeah, just giving a sense that we're just battlers, and it's got an ambush feel about it from a Fremantle perspective. But sat down with Justin Longmuir, did a function the other night with him. And he's couldn't have asked for a better pre-season, really. I mean, Michael Walters with the Achilles playing at Peel tomorrow. Look, he's probably, given the small forward setup of Switkowski and Schultz, he's no lock to play every game this year anyway, I don't think. But he's classy and he's got the craftiness. But he'll be missing. The question mark over Luke Ryan, he said no, he'll play. So too Luke Jackson. O'Meara's overcome his ankle. I just think they're too healthy for St Kilda. And it's going to be fascinating to see how Luke Jackson goes first up. But look, pre-season form doesn't count for much once the ball's bounced. But I think Fremantle have shown me that you can trust them with the squad they've got at the moment, yeah.
I saw a few members of the West Australian media saying that Fremantle weren't going to play finals. Michael Barlow
Mickey
was one
Barlow,
of those.
yeah.
And there was another one.
Which is fair enough, because guess what? It's
Absolutely. Who knows? But I'm going to say what I think. I don't see them getting worse from last year.
They're 6-0 for you.
They're 6-0 to start the year, and that's not outrageous. They're playing teams below them, and it's also not outrageous to say they improved this year. Their midfield's a year into it. Their backline is exactly the same with 2 younger guys playing more footy, and Young and Chapman. They get better. So their back and midfield both get better. And their forward line is the question, how they connect, how they work together. But from what I saw, and I saw it live and I watched it, they function well. So they get better for mine. They're not missing. They're not missing finals. I'm sorry, but they're not missing finals.
Look, the only concern I have is whether they handle the expectation. Now I know it sounds very media talk, but just that side of it. I tell you, who's Justin Longmuir was delighted with during pre-season. He's the ruck work of Sean Darcy. So he's a gun. We know he's a very good player, but expect him maybe to improve even a fraction more. Doig medalist from a couple of years ago.
We've got Alex Pearce coming up on BackChat next week, captain of the Freo Dockers, and I am influenced a little bit around that expectation stuff. I did ask him a question around that. It was actually not only the expectation about being a good team, but it was an expectation around the club's first premiership, and how do you hold that expectation versus a burden, versus motivation? Like, how do you get the group? And he was just very calm. Very, not nonchalant, but very matter-of-fact about it. He said, well, we haven't won a premiership, and we do want to win a premiership, and we've just accepted that fact. It's real. And just the way he answered and his attitude to it, it wasn't a big deal. And he's right. It's real. They haven't won a flag, but they've got a squad that can, in my opinion. And to do that and to win a premiership, you've got to identify it. Hey, we want to win a flag.
And also I've got no issue with them being quite open about, this is our plan. We'd like to win a flag in 5 years. We want 60,000 plus, but whatever it is.
Yeah, great.
Put it out there. I mean, every business does it.
Yeah.
But in footy, because you have the bravado to maybe make a statement that this is where we want to go to in this period of time, you get whacked if it doesn't happen. But no, I've got no issue with Simon Garlick, Justin Longmuir, and they're quite open about it.
Will Brodie's 50th game, he'll play that. St Kilda, massive injury list. They're missing King, who's a great player. Hayes, who's the ruckman that came over last year. Membry's not playing, another forward.
Billings, so you go through it.
Yeah, correct. Billings, Winhager, Schofield, Ross. they're in big trouble. I see Freo winning this and winning this big.
Yeah, well, I'm just struggling to see how St Kilda kick a score. So once that's in play, the defence of Fremantle, I just think, I'll probably have egg on my face, but if they kick 10 goals, St Kilda, I'll be surprised.
Well, mate, we could get an absolute lifetime supply of eggs in here and just have them launched in our face every time we stuff something up. But I think we're on the same page here. Both pick West Coast, both pick Freo.
Correct.
Very good. Mark Reddings, Will Schofield, shout out FootyCast. I took the headphones out, so I didn't hear the sting there, but I think I did quite well. Let's get into the other games. We've gone through Richmond, Carlton. Who did you pick, by the way? And be honest.
No, I picked Richmond just because of their record. I just thought their experience and Carlton. Yeah, anyway, I picked Richmond. I didn't win, didn't lose. Next game.
Very good. I picked Richmond as well for that. So we're actually on the same page at the moment. Geelong v Collingwood tonight, Friday night. Huge game. It's great when you see big matchups like this to start the season.
Absolutely. And look, I'm going a bit against the grain here. Collingwood's been spoken about like they've lost 7 key players. And to be honest, they have, they've shed, I think,
lost Grundy,
who didn't play much last year anyway.
Yeah.
Henry's gone down to Geelong.
Yep.
They picked up Tom Mitchell, Dan McStay, Bobby Hill, Ginnivan tonight. But I still like them. I mean, I know they won a lot of close games last year, and people are saying you can't do that again. But why can't they also improve in certain areas? I like them. I'm tipping them to beat the Cats tonight. I know you're a massive Geelong man. Hawkins playing is huge, which is a surprise. Jeremy Cameron, his wife's almost in labour.
I saw that.
He's ready to go at half time tonight, and I reckon Collingwood supporters are hoping the call comes.
I reckon he and the footy club the sort of team that if it would be half time, he'd just roll out of there. I reckon.
And the sub comes in and they still win.
Yeah, correct. The last time a reigning premier lost in round 1?
Cool, good question.
It's not that. I'll give you a clue. It's in the last 6 years.
I'm trying to remember the last 6 premiers. So Melbourne 2021, they won first up. 2020 was Geelong. I can't tell you.
West Coast 2019 after the 2018 premiership.
Who'd you play?
I don't know.
Did you play?
No. Of course I wouldn't have been picked round 1. No, I don't know. I might have to get some listeners to have a think about that. I don't know who we played, but we definitely lost.
No, well,
Jaden could look that up.
Jaden will have that sorted in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
you
correct.
can't, mind you, I can't remember it either. So
yeah, you'd be lucky to remember who played last night. 90,000 crowd expected. It's going to be huge. Geelong will get around it. It's their first unveiling of the flag, effectively. In Collingwood, it's not at home. It's like Caninier Park, but it's going to be big. Cameron will, not Jeremy, Darcy will be a big factor for Collingwood this year. Can he? Look, he played really well as that ruckman, and he effectively, dispersed Brodie Grundy. But can he take the leap into, he's still a young player. Can he take that leap? I think you sort of see. I have him on the same level as Sean Darcy. Sean Darcy potentially, more experienced a little bit, but they're sort of guys below the elite level, in my opinion. But they're both guys that could jump to the elite level if they have really good years. And if Darcy Cameron does that for Collingwood, I think that'd be good for them.
Yeah, just off the back of that, we talked, Hammer and I, on Monday about the AFL picking not the best player from each side, but the most important.
Yeah.
And they had Darcy Cameron as their number 1 at Collingwood, which, you could argue Darcy Moore, but Darcy Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, Darcy Moore's a great player. He's a captain. And Jordan Ngoe is an important player. He's got to have a really big year for Collingwood to go well. But if Darcy Cameron goes down, they've got Mason Cox in the ruck. I probably agree with that. It's quite good.
Who are you tipping?
I am tipping for Geelong. Yeah, Geelong. I mean, I'm picking them for premiership, so they got to win round 1.
Do they? Okay.
You got Collingwood?
I've told you I've tipped Collingwood.
I wasn't listening. Who did we play? Jaden?
So, 2019, Brisbane Lions, 102 to 58.
Oh, you got absolutely towed up. Must have been the Gabba, was it?
The Gabba.
2019 at the Gabba.
At the Gabba, absolutely.
7 goals.
No recollection of that. There's no way I played in that game. Thank you very much.
Well, if you did, there's a concussion study going on right now, and you might be part of it.
Maybe I had a sore neck from watching all the goals go across over the goal line. Port Adelaide played Brisbane, 1:35 Saturday. It's the second game on Saturday. Port Brisbane, that's a big-ish game as well. Is it at the Gabba?
No, it's at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, I just said that, didn't I? Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide.
Big game, and Brisbane, I think, won their past 5 against Port, and they've recruited well. We know they've got Gunston in attack. We know we've talked about Ashcroft as a kid, and, of course, Dunkley through the middle. I like their forward line. I'm big on Brisbane this year. I'm bullish, and so a bit like you with Geelong. And we saw a bit of Port in the pre-season, so we had a decent look at them. Travis Spoke hasn't come up after being
I don't blame
crunched
him, mate.
by Jeremy McGovern. I'm not sure whether it's ribs or whatever it is, but there's something that there was no way he was going to play for at least another couple of weeks after that, and as it turns out, not even round one. So interesting to see how Dixon goes in attack with Todd Marshall. Their small fours look good. Look, Port, I think, is a realistic team this year to play finals. Absolutely.
I've slipped them. They've slid.
Because of what you saw?
Yep. I've got them not making finals again.
Because of what you saw?
Yep. Yeah, maybe it's an overreaction, couple of games, but I watched them back to back. It was less. I saw that and I really didn't like that. There wasn't much that they did.
They weren't terrible.
At stages they defended well. I wasn't like, well, they're definitely gonna play finals. I didn't walk away from that. So, they weren't good enough to play finals last year. I think they're about the same team as they were last year. So, look, maybe they win a couple more games. They lost some tight games last year. So maybe if they do that, they can scrape up to finals. But I don't have them jumping into the top four or anything like that. I think Brisbane will win this easily.
Yeah, I'm tipping Brisbane as well. Adelaide Oval and the Lions. Yeah, I've got them as a really much of top four team.
Yep, very good. Melbourne v Western Bulldogs, 4:25 Saturday at the MCG. 2021 grand final rematch.
Absolutely, and there's some big outs for Melbourne, particularly Stephen May.
They've got a lot of young kids playing. Don't they?
They've got four big names out, and May particularly is significant given how tall the Bulldogs are going to go in round one. When you think of Lobb, Darcy, Norton,
Jamal Hagan.
Exactly. There's four now. Whether they can't all play in the forward line, can they?
No. So what I really like about Western Bulldogs is their spine. So the forward line will be Norton, Hagan, Lobb. They're the three talls. And they've obviously got Tim English, who'll play pretty much the whole time in the ruck. And then down back, they got Liam Jones.
New to the club.
Yep. They have Darcy, definitely down back. And maybe a Josh Bruce. I don't know if he's been named, but
you think he'll play?
No, he can't play forward.
No.
Not with those three. And he's not in front of any of those
I'm not
guys
sure he's playing.
Forward.
Yeah.
So, look, they are tall. And Mail miss that. They're missing Fritsch, who's been their leading goal scorer. Jack Viney's not playing. Salem's not playing. Melksham's not playing. They've got some big names out.
And looking at the price for them, they're favourites at around $1.50 or something.
I'll do it. I'm picking the Bulldogs. They'll beat Melbourne round one at the MCG. I'm picking them. What do you think? Have I talked to you around, have I?
I've put my tips in, so I'll have to stick fat, as they say. But I think that Melbourne, I sat next to Hamish last week, and he was so bullish on the Demons, albeit probably without the knowledge that those sort of players were missing.
None of their midfield's missing.
No.
Viney.
And bear in mind, Grundy and the Gorn factor is going to be fascinating. I don't have the certainty that I did or the confidence I did a few days ago, but I still think I'm going with Melbourne off the back of their midfield more so than and bear in mind Dunkley out of that midfield. We know the Bont's there. We know they've got the quality there, but I'm banking on Melbourne getting enough first supply.
If we talk about teams that have slid and risen for me, I'd sort of written off the Bulldogs, and then I looked at their team properly, and I've got them in the 8, not comfortably, but they'll make the 8, and Port Adelaide are the ones that I had in the 8, and I've got them out now. So I think Bulldogs will get it done.
Bear in mind, the Bulldogs, since their premiership in 2016, have not won more than 12 games in a season since then. That seems strange, doesn't it? That's.
What about their grand final year? Is that?
I said since their grand final win in 2016.
Yeah, but they made the grand final in 2021.
Where'd they come from?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, no. So they've come from. Yeah, that was on Fox last night, which I found really strange.
Well, okay, there we go. So, are they any good this year or not?
I think they're thereabouts. Okay. I'm worried about that stat now as well.
Yeah, I know. On Fox last night. Strange. Who's rolled that one out? Very good. No, I'm sure it's right, Skater. You're very often right and never wrong. Gold Coast v Sydney, 5 o'clock. Heritage Bank Stadium.
That's Metricon Stadium renamed, Scully.
Heritage Bank. Yeah,
and look, talk about a team that's been written off. Isn't it funny? The team that gets belted in the grand final sometimes, they're going to slide. And Sydney's regarded by you and others as a slider for whatever reason. They get Gold Coast first up, and I'd be really tempted of going up there. Gold Coast.
Didn't Gold Coast beat Sydney
mate, they beat by 40 points last time at the G. They've got a good record against them. In one of the few power clubs, I guess you could say, that the Gold Coast have a very good record. So
Ben King's back for Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hammer on the BackChat Monday show, he said Ben King is a better player than Max King. I know he's coming off an ACL, but they'll be better, Gold Coast. They're a riser for mine. And, like you said, Sydney are a faller a little bit. So, who are you picking?
I've been a bit lacking in courage. I've tipped Sydney.
Gutless Mark already.
Well, no, just only because of you go off last year to some degree. Their pre-season.
It's bloody hard. It's actually hard.
It's a tough game. I think it's more $1.80, $2 and $1.60 for Sydney. I've just gone with Sydney. It's just the horse maybe just get them fired up, saying, look, everyone thinks we're Gonski.
Okay,
Sydney to win.
I'm going Sydney as well. Here's a fun fact. Luke Parker is the most experienced club captain in 2023 with 89 games in charge. He was the 7th most experienced in 2022. So the six above him. So let's see if we can do this. Selwood.
From last year's, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, Selwood. Hang on. Shuey was only for... No,
the guys got to have stepped away.
Five? No,
five.
Five. How long did that take us?
Yeah. Who was the North Melbourne captain?
Was it...
Zeeble?
Zeeble, yes.
Pendlebury? Who was the Adelaide captain?
Pendlebury captain last year?
Pendlebury,
yep.
Sloan.
Yep.
So they're the guys, and there's one more.
Jonas is captain, isn't he?
Yeah, correct.
4th year.
Trying to think who was the other team that changed. We did well. We got 5. We got 5 of the 6.
Yeah, with no notes, just a lot of vacant air between the skull.
Well, there hasn't been a lot. There's one vacant air between the skull. All right, we both picked Sydney. Very good. Buddy Franklin, will he kick over 100?
This year?
Just asking.
There's no chance. I don't think my bold prediction.
Will he kick over 50?
Kick 50?
Yeah.
No.
He won't kick 50 goals.
I don't think he will.
What was his line for the year then?
What's his line? I've got no idea.
No. I'm just asking you.
I made a bold prediction, and this is not. I don't like.
You potting him, are you?
No, I'm saying my feeling is that if he gets a couple of injuries, he'll pull the pin before the end of the year.
Pin pull.
That's my bold
pin pulling
prediction. I don't like to because he's a champion. You don't want to see him go that way. But I think that he's.
You don't think he'll kick? How many goals did we kick? 40?
Yeah, 40. But I don't think he's kicking 50. What did he kick last year?
Jad. Right, I think
50 goals is in the modern day is
I got him for 50 goals. I won't be the man who's riding off Buddy Franklin.
No, not riding him. I'm just concerned about I'm thinking his body is just.
Hey, it's not me who said it, mate.
Hey? Yeah, you're putting words in my mouth, Jaden. What did he kick last year? Because there's no way he kicked 50 last year.
All right. Well, I think he kicks 50 this
year. He definitely kicked 1,000.
Yeah, that was very good. GWS v Adelaide. I'll leave you with that, Jaden, for a bit. 10-10 Sunday. I pick Adelaide straight up. GWS don't think. I was impressed with Adelaide here against West Coast.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from Adelaide, you talk about rises, and it's only a small sample and it's in a pre-season, but they have to improve. Their forward line looks good. I mean, Fogarty.
Yeah, Fogarty looks good with Walker. Rochelle and Rankin will be going inside. So I spoke to Isaac Rankin before that game on Fox Footy and had a chat to him off air, and it sounded like he's going to be spending quite a bit of time in the midfield rotating with Rochelle. So that's exciting for footy fans because Rochelle plays a forward most time last year. Isaac Rankin spent a lot of time as a forward at Gold Coast Suns. I like those two as a bit of a pairing. I think Adelaide will be quite good this year. No Matt Crouch, he's injured, but they've got a pretty full list to pick from. New captain Jordan Dawson. And I just don't see GWS improving this year. They may do. I could be wrong, but I pick Adelaide to win the game.
Yep.
You?
I concur.
What was the question we asked you before, Jad? Can't even remember.
Buddy Franklin.
Buddy Franklin, 2022.
So did I.
52 goals.
Sucked in, Skeeter. 52. You beauty.
And you think you'll get 50 this year?
Well, you kicked him last year.
Why won't
he kick him this year?
Well, yeah, just keep rolling through.
There we go. Okay, you've written him off.
I said he won't kick 52.
Just
he'll probably kick 9 against the Suns.
But today's date down in the calendar, Mark Reddings writes off.
No, I just said he won't kick 50.
Okay, well, I'll say he kicks 50. All right, there's our first wager of the year. Hawthorn v Essendon, the last game of the weekend, 12:20 Sunday, MCG. Is this going to be a good game? Hawthorn, they've dispersed some members of their football club. And Essendon, I couldn't name their best 5 players the other night with Hammer. I couldn't name their best 5. Can you do that? Their best 5. Most exciting 5 players.
Well, his best 5. Merritt, Parrish gets, I think Draper's going to be.
Okay.
Draper.
Going to be, but I would say,
Yeah.
Hasn't really done anything. That's about it.
Ridley in defence.
Good player.
How about we reframe it? How many A-graders there?
Yeah, I'm probably thinking in that realm as well. Zach Merritt's an A-grader.
Outside of that, it's skinny. I mean, can I say Jake Stringer? No, as one of the top 5, if he's up and running. Or is it?
It's just too big of an if.
Yeah, true.
For mine, unfortunately. And they would have hoped Dylan Shield was going to be an A-grader when he came to the footy club, and he hasn't been. He's been inconsistent.
But has the potential to be certainly B-grade.
It's just that they will be hoping a changing coach. Clearly, that's why they've moved on from Rutten. Will change, the fortunes of that footy club, and they've got a lot of work to do.
And not just on the field. Off the field, they've got some dramas.
What's going
Josh
on
Marnie there. Voz from West Coast has gone across as CEO.
Yeah.
So he's based, because of his list management skills and football department acumen, they're trusting him to try and
sculpt it a little.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So Josh Marnie and Dodoro, I saw,
having a
saw a picture of
Well, there's certainly a bit of an impasse between the two of them reportedly, and Vozo's come in to try and hopefully get that.
Well, they need change.
Yeah.
They haven't played finals in 6,000 days.
Yeah, but not just that. They've also had, when have they had stability off the field in the last 10 years? And a part of it's the supplement stuff, which we won't go into, but there just seems to be a club that's always going from one issue to another.
I think Hawthorn will be more competitive this year than people think. People look at it.
It's in their DNA, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's again, I'm biased. I know I'm biased with this one. But Sam Mitchell, he just won't be rolling a team out that's not competitive. That's how he exists. That's the DNA he teaches, right? He comes from not only as a player, right, where he's been rookie listed and he's had to scrap to get onto a list to then win a Brownlow medal and 4 premierships or 3 or 4, however many you like. Captain the footy club to then do what he did coaching. He's come from that Hawthorn success. What I saw at West Coast as a player and then as a coach. He preaches competitiveness. Don't lose a contest. Fight for everything. And then, he's got high level intelligence and football skills and football brain. That's what he'll be teaching these guys. So yes, they're young, but their pass mark each week will be on how competitive they are. So that's why they'll be competitive, because if they're not, they'll be out of the team and they'll be getting someone who's more competitive. Adrian Hickmott has a bit to do with that too. I just know their DNA without even seeing them play and what they're going to be trying to teach you. I already know it. And I like it, so I think they're going to be competitive.
So they beat Essendon?
Yeah, Hawthorn beat Essendon, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tip Essendon there because I
really?
I agree.
I think we've just trashed them.
No, I'm just saying to you, I think Hawthorn's in for a tough year. I think you're right.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're making finals.
No, I don't doubt that. But I think Essendon probably a bit more advanced. It wouldn't surprise me if Hawthorn got up. How's that? You talk about rivalries. This is actually a really good rivalry, but this is one of the best rivalries in the Victorian landscape, with 2 clubs through the 80s that really went at it in grand finals. The hatred there. So I'm tipping Essendon to win, but Hawthorn.
You can see my point.
You absolutely make a good point, but hopefully it's wrong.
Will Schofield, Mark Reading, Shelter FootyCast. Let's finish off on FOOTY'S. Now, this is the last one. We're almost done and dusted. A bit of a long show, but I think it's round 1. I think we're allowed to do that. It's a podcast, we can do what we like.
First time you've been back in the chair for about 6 months.
Shorts in here, so you're clearly taking a bit casual today, haven't you? What's going on?
Doing this. Did some radio this morning, going for a bite to eat with you, and then I'll probably go home and have an afternoon snooze.
Will you?
Oh, mate.
It's been a big week.
It's been a big week. And
big month.
And, mate, it's not even round 1, and then I'm going to have 6
Friday, big snooze.
Go to the backyard cricket match at the Governor House tomorrow, some charity thing which is...
Are you playing?
No, I'm the commentator. And then Sunday at 6pr doing some calling. And then guess what? Back here Monday, we do that for about 25 weeks in a row.
We bloody look forward to it, though.
No, we love it. But I reckon by June or July, we'll be looking for a bit of you'll go to Moscow or somewhere.
You'll be here in budgies. Moscow. Quick trip to Moscow, you reckon? Go check out the sights of Russia.
Come on.
All right. There should be a game in WA this weekend, yes or no?
Yes.
Of course.
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, everyone loves Ed, but that's the bottom line.
Not everyone loves footy skate.
No, that's right. But the prime income for this venue, Optus, is footy. Right. It's bread and butter. And
so
look,
what are they meant to do? Shut the doors to everyone? No one else use it?
No,
and get a prime time for the AFL footy?
No, I'm just
one
saying.
of the best artists in the world.
Yeah. Well, how come there was footy at the MCG last night? Because they had Ed Sheeran a couple of weeks before.
Yeah.
So obviously the scheduling suited Melbourne more than us. But yeah, I would have liked it. I understand the reasons, and it'll come up fine, I'm sure. MCG looked good last night.
Do you know any of Ed's songs?
A couple. They're a bit too similar for me. But apparently he's great. You were there, weren't you?
No, absolutely no. I couldn't name one song.
No, not huge on him, but he's great. Apparently he's a really good artist.
Apparently he's a really good artist. according to Mark Reddy. So, mate, it's been very good. It's been good to be back here in the chair. Round one, can't wait. We're already one game in, the rest to come. Make sure you sign up to the Shelter FootyCast tipping competition. Take on me and Skeet, as you've just heard for the show. We may have no idea whatsoever, so it could be a good win for you. Follow us on socials. You can do that over at Shelter FootyCast. Send us an email or comment in the YouTube section below. Skeeter, we'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Have a good snooze this afternoon.
Look forward to it, Scully. Makes it so much easier.